Guys, welcome back to the Motivational Drive. This is my second video today. I'm on a roll, I guess. This isn't a long one, so I just figured I would just spit it out and get it out there. So I wanted to talk about habits. We all have habits. It's what's getting us through our daily routines. But do we think about our habits much? And what does it take to create a habit? And what does it take to change a habit? So we all have good habits, we all have bad habits, right? How do you set up more good habits, and how do you eliminate the bad habits? So let's think about what a habit is overall. A habit is a pattern that is set up in the mind. Now, I talk a lot about neuroscience because it has a lot to do with positivity. The brain is an amazing thing. So your brain has a whole bunch of, I believe they're called dendrites, and dendrites are nerve cells in your brain, and they pass electrical signals called synapses over the spaces in between the dendrites. Now, a weird thing happens when you start to develop a habit. When you start to do the same thing over and over, day after day, because that electricity travels through a certain pathway of the brain to organize the motor skills you use, the emotional and behavioral patterns that you use, it goes through there as you make your move, as you do your habit, and it actually starts to, the dendrites start to cooperate. They start to say, hey, I'm nearby, let me jump in on that and help out. And then they will let electricity flow over them. So essentially what happens is the first time you do something, it's like going into the woods and carving a path. You're taking a machete and a hatchet or whatever, and you're clearing a path and you're hacking away, and it's really small, right? It's going to be a really small path just to get you through. But if you keep going through that path every single day, your footsteps are going to widen it. If you take your hatchet and your machete with you every day, you're going to clear more vegetation on the sides. It's going to get wider and wider and more accessible. And then what happens is, you might have to stumble through your path the first time, but after a while, your path is going to be so wide that if you want to, you could run at full speed right through that same section. Now before, it was all clustered together and really tough. You weren't going to be able to do that. But after you made it a habit, it became so easy because all of the dendrites in your brain are cooperating. So to create a habit, to start those dendrites clustering together and working as a team, takes doing the same thing on a repetitive basis for around 3 weeks, 17 to 21 days. You'll hear people say different numbers. So let's say 3 weeks. Now here's where the bad side of that happens. I don't want to say bad side, but here's how negative habits hurt us. If you have done a negative habit for a long time, you've cleared that pathway in your brain. What happens is, as soon as an electrical signal starts down that path, it makes it really easy to keep going. So it makes habits really, really tough to break. If you want to break an existing habit that you already have set up in your life, you're looking at 90 days, 3 months. That's over 3 times longer, 300% longer than it took you to start to develop a habit. So if you have bad habits, it is absolutely essential that you start to change your habit and not continue to progress the bad habit. Now, one awesome thing, this is a little trick. If instead of doing something that you know is a negative habit for you, if you set up a positive habit to replace the time where you had the negative habit, you will see that it is easier to break the pattern of the negative habit. And so, for example, finding a time to, okay, I'll give you a great example. I get road rage really bad in the car. Okay, it's been a thing I've dealt with for a really long time, and I'm trying to diminish that in myself and get rid of that. So I started to do these motivational messages in the time span that I normally get road rage. So now, not only do I not get road rage, I mean, I do, but I'm working on it, and it's getting easier, but it's getting easier as well as to not have road rage, as well as it's getting easier to make these videos for you guys. So I'm curbing one bad habit. I'm getting rid of the road rage, and in its place, I'm setting up something that's positive. It's constructive. There's value there. Okay, so what's happening is naturally now when I get in the car, I'm starting to think about positive emotions and what I would like to tell someone else about. And I'm not thinking about all the reasons why I would get upset with all the other drivers on the road. And so I'm getting a bonus. I'm getting two things at one time. I'm diminishing an existing habit, and I'm creating an amazing habit. So the more ways you can find to do that in your life, the easier and quicker you will get over your negative habits. So the moral of this story, it takes 3 weeks to set up a positive pattern in the brain and start getting the mind to accept a habit. It takes 3 months to break a negative habit. So if you have some habits you know you want to break, understand it's going to take you a little bit of time, but you can do it. The more you set your mind to it, the faster it's going to happen, and try to set something else up positive in its place. You may replace it faster and adopt a new awesome skill. All right, guys, have a great day. Thank you for sharing with me. Subscribe, notify, share, like, get this out there for other folks. Have a great day.